So hello everyone, both offline and some people are online. So welcome to the second offering of the personal project workshop. So today we are going to the second part. We are going to code the website, Kian's Figma design yesterday, and then with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and we are going to deploy it with GitHub pages. Okay, we are just going now with the prerequisites. So I'm assuming most people would probably have laptop with internet connection. We can have SFP Wi-Fi here. If you don't have laptop and then you want to just look around and then just see what I'm doing, it's also fine. We also need Visual Studio Code. Also, we need GitHub account. If you don't have these two, like the Visual Studio Code or GitHub account, please reach out to the mentors here. We have offline mentors here, 2 people here. I think Kian also can also help. But Visual Studio Code and GitHub account, you can easily download from the resources I've given here, the coding workshop resources. Let me see in my Brave browser here. Okay, yeah, I think it's in here. Some people are coming. You can see all the guidelines, all the table of contents that I will be teaching for today in this Notion site. Okay. Thank you, Kian. Okay, so we are going to go to the today's agenda. Our first agenda here is showing you why having personal website is important. So just short lecture, and then we are going to introduce you with the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And then we are going to build the websites with HTML, with all these tools. And then I'm just going to show you basic Git commands to show you how to push these local files that we have built into GitHub for later to be able to be deployed with GitHub pages. So if these technical things seems like scary for you, no worries, we will be able to help you. There are also online mentors available to help. Kian and Marcus is here. I think Kyle also is in Zoom. So feel free to reach all of them. Yeah. So, okay, disclaimer. This introduction is very short. So if some of you you don't really know what is these things, I don't expect you to be able to like be proficient. I just want to show you the key idea, which is to get familiar with the idea of like learning by doing. If you know like some YouTube tutorials, like we just code along with them. I feel like that's like one of the most important thing that university don't really teach you, like just learning by doing and then actually knowing it after, because you are actually doing it and not just like by looking at the slides. Okay. Yeah, so always reach out if you have any questions, and then to me if you have any questions about the lecture, and then to the volunteers. Yeah. Okay, so why having a personal website is important? So the first thing is as a portfolio to help you get a job. So Kian has also explained it really amazingly yesterday. Basically, you need the website to be very useful to both software developers that know the technical terms, like maybe like all the coding, like programming languages, other things, and then but it also need to be recognizable by the HR, like human resources. They may not really know what kind of programming languages it, but they can know what kind of person are you by showing your personality through this website. And I think that's like one of the unlooked things if you're like showing the personal website, by showing like your passion of design, your passion of just like want to build things. And then my second or the last reason is just I think it's just nice to have your own internet space to share things. I see like one of the reasons why I like building websites, it's easy like to share ideas, and then it's just easy to like know people from there. Yeah. So I'm just like building up on top of the second point. So it fights open conversation with others and not just employers. So one of the things that I've built is just like building a post, building a transfer guide, So for context, I was a transfer student from Ranggara like for 2 years, and then I just built like all the things, all the tech knowledge I accumulated. And I think some people reach out to me asking more questions and then just thanking them. And I just feel like it's a nice thing to do. And then the fact that they also come to me, I think it just also made my day. So it's just really interesting how like just from building little things, we can also help people. And then the second thing is just it's convenient to have the summary of you accessible anywhere. I think for some people this may seem creepy, like privacy issue and that kind of things. If you don't want to, you can also like build it like anonymously. I think that's fine also. Just the idea of sharing things, I think it's one of the things that I personally really enjoy. And then yeah, the last thing is just making work feels like play because you actually like doing it. Yeah. And then, okay, so we are going to explain why do we need to learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I think for most people, they know why do we need to learn it because you come to this workshop. But I'm just going to explain it a bit more. One of the reasons I hear from some people and friends is that why do you need to learn these things if you can like just code it with like React or Angular? Or maybe if you don't know, it's just like the fancy frameworks that you don't really need to code with these things. So this is like for symbols, like for libraries for frameworks, React, Angular, Vue, and Svelte. It's absolutely fine if you don't know any of this. This is just something that you will actually know if you actually know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript later on. But the key idea here is that all of these four are actually not a new thing. It's actually not like a brand new idea. They are just like an extension of these three things. They are called framework for a reason. Framework is like a supporting building. So you need to actually have the main building first to be able to have frameworks. So yeah, almost our frameworks are just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So in order to understand them, you need to understand the basic first. In order to build a house, you need to have the solid foundation first. And then yeah, understand the basic first, and then everything else become transferable. So from a personal story, I have learned React, and then one of the class requires me to learn Angular. And then I feel like if I only know React, like just know basic React, it wouldn't be kind of possible for me to actually learn Angular because they two are like very different way of building things. But if you know like the underlying basics, I think it becomes much easier to learn both of these two things. Okay, so we are going to actually now introduce you with the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So HTML. So what is HTML? HTML is the content. It's like the structure. So if you want to build like humans, they're like the bones. Like they're like the one that gives you structure. They also give you the content. So like all the text, they're HTML. So for example, personal websites, a lot of like professor websites, they're actually only built with HTML. Like if you see like here, just going to show you in Greg Baker. Yeah, this is like, I think for most people, this is kind of ugly, but I mean, they're professors, so you don't really need to prove yourself. Like, yeah, this is already good enough for them. But I don't think the case applies for us because we need to make the recruiter smile. Like this professor, they just need their GPA high and then have research experience and then their career set. But I don't think that's the case for us. So we need both also CSS and JavaScript. So what are these two of them? CSS is how the content should look like. So if you want to add colors, if you want to have like more spaces, like give more spaces, if you want to have like a bit of animations. JavaScript can also relate like with the animation side. They can make content interactive. They're basically like behavioral, like structural, presentational, and behavioral. This is like the three terms that we are probably going to know, yeah, and then use afterwards. And then yeah, this is just how it looks like, just in basics, the bone, and then the CSS and the JavaScript. Okay, so we are going to HTML. So HTML is just the markup language, just displaying the content and structure. So HTML document is made of HTML elements, and then these HTML elements contain text or images. So it describes the structure and content. Their files end with .html or .htm. So HTML elements are made of three things: the names, attributes, and contents. So the names are the within angle brackets. Attributes is like the key value pair, like name value pair, and then there's the content. I'm going to show you the example of this. Yeah. So this is the element name. Element name is always required. This is the syntax. If you want to see, this is just the proper syntax. This is not actually an HTML element. For the actual element can be shown below in the examples. So this is EM is the XML element name. Brian Rahadi, my name is, this is the content. So the element name is always required. HR. So this is example of HTML element that only consists of element name. And then these three things are with three element names, attributes, and content. So A is the element name, href is the attributes, this is the key, and then the value is the sif.ca, and this is my university is the content. So yeah, it will look something like this. And then we are going to go to CSS. So CSS just describe the presentation of markup document. CSS document basically just consists of style rules, where HTML document consists of HTML elements. CSS only consists of style rules, and then their files ends with .css. So CSS style rule, what it is? It consists of two things: the selector, so you need to specify which things to be selected, and then the declaration. It's kind of similar with HTML attribute because it's like in key value pair, like in property value pairs to describe the presentation. Yeah, so this is the syntax. We have the selector here, we have the property and value. So for example, this is like the EM, color red, HR. So border, we define the border here. So like this green things, 1px dotted green. And then we have the anchor tag here, font size and text decoration. Yeah. So the font size here is 2em. It makes it slightly bigger because I think the standard font size for HTML is like 1em, or yeah, so the standard font size is like 1em usually. And the text decoration is none. So what does it do? That because this anchor tag is like links, hyperlinks, they remove the underline here. Because if we see previously, by default, it has the underline here. This is the default. But because we have the text decoration underline here, we don't see any underline anymore. And then, yeah, so also there's also JavaScript. This is basically just a programming language. I think for some of us, we have taken intro to programming languages. It can be similar analogically like Java, C++, just because it's like a programming language, but maybe the way it works can be very different from languages to languages. And then, yeah, this workshop is very short. If you are at SFU, you can take like CMVT 272. That's a very good workshop to strengthen these three fundamentals. But if you outside of school, I have actually taken free code camp, and I really recommend these things because it's actually let you build things like it's a playground. So like it gives you things to build. It's not just showing like watching the videos and get certificates. They actually need you to build things. And yeah, this is my first exposure to programming, and I really recommend it. So if you want to have any questions, feel free to reach out. All right. So this is the end of the slide. Sorry if it's too fast, but does anyone have questions for now? I'll take a bit of water. Oh, where's my bottle? All right, never mind. Okay. I think there's no more. Oh. Stop share. Okay, so I want all of you. So for now, I want all of you to start waking up your laptop. We'll start building things. So first, we want you to build open this website. I will share it please share in the comments. Oh yeah, thank you, Kian. Yeah, Kian, I shared this. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to download this file. So I'm going to wait like 1 minute before everyone has their laptop ready. Okay. Okay, if you're done, we are going to download this code. We can do like, we can use git commands to download this file, but for now, I recommend you to just download it as a zip. So downloading as zip is like doing this, press the drop down button and then download it as zip. Yeah. And then yeah, just CSS menu, open the file. All right. And then if you have Visual Studio Code, I want you to open this file using Visual Studio Code. For if you use MacBook, usually you can just drag and drop this, but I want you to just drag and drop the portfolio start here. Yeah. Let me know if anyone has any trouble, because some people may have skipped few steps. I may have skipped few steps here. So yeah, here is the coding. And then I also want you to open this Figma website for us to like code side by side. Yeah, we will download the extensions after this. Let me know if the link doesn't work. It probably can be my link. So, but this is the the link that we'll be using. Yeah, and then we are going to download the extension. So for the extension, we can open these building blocks here, and then we can search for live server. So this is the live server extension in Visual Studio Code. I'll just uninstall this and then install it again. Then I will also open the prettier. Yeah. So prettier here, I already uninstall it. I will just uninstall and then install it again. Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, I'm going to wait like 30 seconds, I think, for people to start, maybe for downloading, for the download to be finished. So we have this index.html. Okay, yeah. This is the expected website. How would it look like? Because we don't really have anything for now. Yeah. Just going to make it as a new tab, I guess. Yeah. So I'm going to show you what are these files. Some of you are probably confused. So this is HTML file. As you can see, we also use this Notion. So this is HTML file. It consists of a head and body here. So as we see in this Notion, it consists of a head and body tag. If some of you who have like studied computer science before, this is just like a tree where HTML always consists of two nodes, head and body. So now you use these algorithms and data structure knowledge. If we search HTML DOM here, this is the document. They have one child, HTML, and HTML have two childs, head and body. So this is kind of like a tree, and then they can have siblings like this. A and H1 is siblings, and then they can have text here. Text is like the one that's like in between the content. So we also have class here. We also have ID attribute and class attribute. Class attribute here is the container and header. So this header has class of container and has class of header. So these are two different classes. And then we have ID here. For example, the section has ID of hero. So what are the difference of these two? The IDs for unique ID for an HTML element. So think of like your student number or like your personal health number. They're always unique. They are always only you. In HTML, this is very useful if you want to navigate to this specific element. For example, in Notion, like table of contents, if you click this, like it redirects you to JavaScript, right? They are directing to your ID. And for class is mostly for like styling and applying functionality for things that share the same class. And then, yeah, we have also HTML references and CSS references here. Feel free to use this because I will be using things here that you may not really understand for now. So you can probably like search on the site also. Okay, so we will start off with this website. So this website has 4 sections. If we see here, I'm going to start coding from this mobile. The reference mobile, yeah. They have the header here and they have the main. So this is the main here. It has 4 sections: the hero, about, projects, and contact. And then, yeah. And then, which is similar to here, section. So why do we section? So section is, in HTML, we usually use section for like a division, but they also have like header in it, which is why we use this, because in here we have the Sebastian Lee as the header, we have about me as the header, we have my projects as a header. It's like for grouping things, for things that have header. We also have a div later on. So div is like this. Yeah. So this is like this. So this is probably like one of the most commonly used HTML elements. Therefore, grouping things that doesn't really have anything in particular, like probably just things like without the header. Okay. So I will start off by coding this section. As you can see here, we are going to code this hero section. So we need, as Kian has really made this amazing Figma file, this hero, we can inspect here and then check all of these elements. So they have 4 elements. So they have like 3 paragraph here. And then they have the social links, which is like just another component here. So if you see something like this, we can also probably think of it as div. And this div has like 3 other things here. So we can start off by hello world. My name is, so because this is like not as big as Bastian Lee, we can probably just use this as a paragraph tag. So this is paragraph tag. And then you can just code this hello world. My name is, yeah. And then it's probably good practice to always have like a class and an ID just to associate, because this paragraph, if you just use paragraph, it will be kind of hard to like reference it when you use CSS or JavaScript later on. So class is, for example, hero and then intro text, right? And then if you want to show it, how does it look? You can use this. Oh, the Zoom is blocking me this moment. Okay. So this is portfolio. So we want, it's time for us to use the first extension, which is live server. So we can right click this index.html and then open with live server. If somehow you don't still have this option yet, you can try restarting the Visual Studio Code. I think sometimes if we install it for the first time, we may not have this option yet. Okay. Yeah. So, as you can see, now we can see the website here. It has a very special name, like, yeah, I think like this localhost and then this like 55000. Yeah, it's fine. Don't be confused what it is. This is just like your personal like network, and then yeah, for your local host to be able to be seen. Yep. And then we can start coding the Sebastian Lee. So this is the part, also another text, but this is probably the biggest text of them all. So we can use a reference card H1, and then Sebastian Lee. And we can see this is Sebastian Lee. H1 is, we use H1. So if in HTML, there's a lot of paragraph. I think they're like H1 until H6. The way you know when to use it is probably the biggest is H1. And then the next, after that, the next biggest is just H2, H3, H4. So we usually start from H1. And because Sebastian Lee here is probably like the biggest of them all, like the biggest in the website, we use H1. And it's best practice to only have one H1 for each website to know like the title of the website. Then we can see, and then we have this description here, which has been beautifully named as description. And then I'm just going to copy all of this and then paste it. If you can also, like, I also give some time for you to also type it. And then I'm going to give you class of hero description here. Yeah. And then why do we use these two strips here? So some of you might be a bit confused why there's like two strips here and why there's one strip here. So two strips is useful to like describe things that are inside something. So this is an intro text that's inside a hero, like hero here, because the ID is hero. This is intro text that's inside a hero. But if you have like only one strip here, this is like just words that's like combined together, like intro text. It's just an intro text. But this is, yeah, if you explain this is an intro text that's inside a hero. This is a description that is inside a hero. I think if you want to search it for reference, I think they're like in the BEM, I think. Yeah, I think there's a BEM resource. You can search it on, I think it's like in the Google somewhere. It's like one of the best practice you can use to describe your website. Then we can start by coding this div. And then they have like GitHub, email, and LinkedIn. So as you can see, we want to make this as a group, right? Div. So the best things to use this is probably a div here. And then because this is hero social links, we can just put as a class hero social links. I use class instead of ID here because I'm thinking there can be, it's possible to have one more social links, even though in practice we only use this one class, like only one social links. And then we have another frame here. We see here. So because this is a button here, but if you click it, it will lead them to somewhere, right? So what we are going to use is we are going to use an anchor tag. So anchor tag is for things that have that leads to somewhere. So if you click it, it leads to somewhere. And then I'll just use github.com here, github.com, or I'll just use blank here for now. And then we can use a tag here, and then we can use the GitHub here. We have image here, right? So we have two things here. Inside the frame, we have two things, the image and the text. So for the image, we have a HTML element called image here. So we have AMAT abbreviation here. I think this is native for in Visual Studio Code. So every time you click it and click enter, it's automatically like very easy for you to like type faster. And then if we click /, they give you hints here, assets. So we have provided assets here, icons, and then icons github.sfg. So make sure to use // here. / means like it starts from the root here, and then assets, icon, use slash to icon that's inside an assets, and then use slash again. So like just in here. So we have icon that's inside this SFG file that's inside an icon that's inside an assets. And then yeah, we also give out. So out here is for the description. This is when your image cannot be where your image cannot be shown, or this is also for those who cannot see. So they instead of being able to see, they can just have the computer to read it out loud. So just say it at GitHub icon. So copy this, just copy these two things, and then I will just change it to email. Oh yeah, what I do is I think my MacBook, I use option here. So if you hold option in MacBook, I'm not sure what's the command is in Windows. If someone knows, they can pop it on the chat. So if you want to, I will do it again. So I hold option and then click these two things again. So now I have like two cursor that's inside here. But if you are not able to do this, it's fine. I think it's just like simple, nice things that help you to like code easier, but this is absolutely not necessary at all. And then just link it in here. Yeah. And then just going to show you what happens now. Yeah. So it's showing right now. It's good. It's showing. Okay. So this is a bit wrong. So this anchor tag leads to these three images it's inside one anchor tag, which is wrong because we want three anchor tags. We want three different links. So I will put this image here, different here. So we put A here, put the second image here, and then for the third image, just put here. Okay, and then for the second paragraph here, I will also put text here. So for text, you can have like paragraph here, or you can also like just put this here because we are already inside anchor tag anyways. GitHub, and then here email, and then here LinkedIn. Yeah. So no worries at all. This still looks not what we want yet, but it's in progress. We will be doing auto style later on the CSS. And then there's one more thing here, because this is a button, right? So how do we make this as a button? Because they have like this background with a radius, like some kind of like circly radius. So what we can do here is we can use this anchor tag, and have this as a class of btn. So it will not do anything for now, but we will style this class btn. So those who have this class will have this kind of appearance, like this kind of button appearance. And put class here, btn, class btn. Okay. So I think we are done for the first section in the HTML. I'm just going to code one more in the about, and we can have like I think 5 to 10 minutes breaks. So yeah, just hang on a bit. We can start doing the about for now. So the about here, the about here has a heading. So this heading is not as big as Bastian Lee. So we can use the next biggest thing, which is to have a H2. But if we look at the Figma here, wait, this is the above. Yeah. If you look at the Figma here, this is actually not, the H2 is not the direct child of about, unlike the hero here. So we have a div here. Oh. So this seems confusing, but this is actually useful because we want to style things according to what we want here. Because this is what it looks in the mobile, right? But we also want to be able to this to be look like in the website. So we have like some compartments here. So we have the about me compartments here, the div here. We have the my skill set here, and then we have also the image here. So what we can do here is we can use div and then class, because this is about content, so we can put it as class as about content. And then because this is also div here, so we have another div here. So div and div. So we can have div here and then h2. Finally, we can use the h2 here. About me. And then we can use this. My name is Bastian Lee. So for this paragraph tag, you don't need to have your name as Bastian Lee. Like just anything that you want. Or if you want to, you can just like follow me, like and use Bastian Lee, and then you can change later on. But there's absolutely no need to follow me like text by text in here. Okay. Just yep. Just copy pasted this paragraph to the chat also to make it easier for people. So this is hey there, my name is Bastian Lee. And then as we can see, we have the Simon Fraser University, right? This is highlighted in blue. From my first impression, I think this should be like an anchor, because if we click it, it leads to SFU website. So what we can do here, I can use an anchor tag. So I can use an anchor tag here inside the p tag, and then just use https sfu.ca, and then put Simon Fraser University in here. And then we can use various projects here. So we have also like another anchor tag in here. So for various projects, we can do the same thing. I'll just cut this and put anchor tag in here, and then href. So in here, as FCA, we are leading to another website. So we use HTTPS. But if you want to lead to various projects here, what I'm thinking is if we click it, it will lead us to these projects here. So we'll just in the same website but different section. So if you want to do that, you can just add this wall sign and then use projects here, because this is connected to this ID here. So the Visual Studio Code is kind of smart. So if I highlight this, it links to this. It means this is the same thing. So if we click this, it will link to the projects. So this is portfolio for now. Okay. Oh, I have not put the projects in here. Various projects. Yeah. So it will not doesn't really look like it does anything, because we don't really have a full section here for now, but it's fine. And then yeah, so we can do my skill set for now. So this is the first div of the about content. So we have section, and then div, and then div. Then we can make second div here. H2. Can we put my skill set here? Oh wait, is it H2? No, this is not H2. This is H3. If we take a look at this, about me and my skill set, about me is probably bigger because this is section of about me. So we use H3 here. And then if we see this, okay, so this is very similar with this GitHub email linking stuff, but the difference is this is probably not an anchor. This is probably not clickable. So I'm just going to use div here, because this is like also div, and then the class, because this is okay. this is about content skills. I probably should just put this on. Yeah, probably looks better. Yeah. So div class is about content skills, and then we can just put another div here. So we use div instead of anchor because this is not clickable. So we can probably use other HTML element, but for div is also good enough for us to have like this description here. HTML, div, CSS, div, JavaScript. Okay, now we are done for this first about content section, and we just need to include the image for now. Okay, so we have the image here. So the image is the direct child of section. You can put image here, and then src. So we can use // assets, and then we can use profile.jpg. And then yeah, this is Sebastian Lee profile image. Take a look. Oh yeah, nice looking guy. This is what it looks like for now, and I think we have 2 more sections to go. So we are just going to have a 8-minute break, and then we are start again at like 2:24.